Okay, hi, I'm Mariah, and I'm Group 3's discussion board leader. You guys probably know me as Mary, but my name's Mariah. So I'm going to summarize what we thought about The Caller and Love by George Herbert. So here we go. Okay, question 1 was to define the dramatic situation of The Caller. And so the general consensus was that the collar was literally like a chain, like it's holding George Herbert back from what he really thought that he wanted in life. And that's what almost everybody said. I said that George Herbert was basically like wallowing in self-pity, and that he was just really pitiful and just focused on himself and really self-centered. But I do agree that he felt the collar was holding him back. Question 2 was to define how he was using the word fruit in line 17, and basically what everyone said was that getting fruit may be more likely with a different lifestyle instead of just being chained to the church like they thought. So I said that he could have been using it for another word for hope, because I thought maybe he was just kind of thinking like maybe the church wasn't for him, and he was just so sad and just pitiful and pitying himself the whole time, and then he begins to realize that there's bigger things than just him. And Sabian said that she thought that fruit was being used like the biblical meaning, like the fruit of one's labor, or like what you get for the work that you put into life. And Caitlin said that fruit could mean life, thinking of what he could have had without being chained to the church like he thought he was. And Jacob said that it seemed like doing the right thing for him wasn't paying off like he thought it should have. Question 3 of part 1 is to define the theme and the paradox. So what everybody said was that yes, he does think he's a slave to the church, but maybe that's not the worst thing in the world, and maybe that is the best thing for him to be with his to do in his life. So I said that he just goes into like this big fit of rage, and then just pitying himself, and then God brings him out of it at the end whenever he says "my child," and then George Herbert kind of realizes that like he's not the only person that has rough times or anything like that. Caitlin said that the collar is his leash to the church, but the paradox would be like he made that decision, and it was his decision to become that, and so maybe he wasn't wrong. And Sabian said that he's a slave to God, but the paradox would be that that's what makes him happy, so don't fix what isn't broken. Part 2 is about the poem Love by George Herbert. So question 1 was to define the dramatic situation, and most of us said that he was trying to figure out if he was a good fit for the church, trying to figure out if God was really for him and if he should stick with that. Sabian said that he feels unworthy, and Caitlin says that he's trying to decide if he's a good fit, and then Jacob said that he has found love in a very literal sense, but is scared to go along with that because of his past experiences, is what it seemed like to him. Question 2 of part 2 about the poem Love is to define the thematic resolution, and to basically say how the resolution from this poem kind of quiets down all the conflict that he has in the first poem, The Caller. And we all said that God is the best choice, basically, and that he is his salvation. Even if we don't feel worthy, that was George Herbert's salvation, that was his final decision. So I said that he finally realizes that God or love, you could consider them the same thing, that it can solve all things no matter what he thinks is wrong, or how lonely he feels, or if he feels all is lost, that it's really not. And Sabian said God is salvation, and that in the last poem he realizes that. Jacob says that he thinks he doesn't deserve a second chance, but in the end he goes with God just because that is a better thing to do, and even though he doesn't feel worthy, it is still a better decision. And Caitlin said that he realizes that God is the way to go, even if he doesn't feel worthy. So just like Jacob said, so that was the basic consensus of what everybody said. So that is what everyone thought about the poems that we had to read this week. So I think we all pretty much agreed, and I think everyone did really good on their responses. So that's it, you guys. So thanks for watching.